Hi, thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm going to try to make some little baggies using these parchment paper sheets that I got at the Dollar Tree. Thought I would try to make some homemade ones and see how they turn out. I took a piece of the paper out of the package, and here's what it looks like. It's fairly transparent. If you put, say you're working on a little craft project and you need a little container to put it in and you want it to show through a little bit, this is the type of material that a lot of crafters like to use. So here are two bags that I have I've purchased like this. So this is how they come made. This one from top to bottom is 6 3/8 roughly. And then the width of it is almost 4 inches. I'm going to measure this out and cut this sheet of parchment, and then we'll see if we can come up with making our own little envelope or baggie. Okay, so before I go cutting on the piece of parchment paper, I wanted to just point out on this finished bag, there is an overlap, about 3/4 of an inch overlap. When I measure out my dimensions for my bag, I want to allow for that 3/4 inch overlap on the side. And then on the bottom, it is just a little over an inch. I'm just gonna go with an inch and we'll see how that works. So I cut this piece of parchment paper to 8 3/4 by 6.5, I believe. Yeah, 6.5 inches. I'm gonna get my scoreboard out and gently put some score lines in here so we can have a nice fold line. When I get the scoreboard, the long side is should be 8.5 inches. We're leaving the extra 1/2 inch for the overlap for gluing. The finished size is going to be 4 inches wide. So we want to score it at 4 inches, and that's going to be our fold line. So let me make sure I've got this straight on here as possible. It's a little hard to work with because it is so lightweight. So I'm going to very gently go in here at 4 inches and gently score. If you can barely see, I did do a score line. And then we are going to, I think we'll go ahead and fold this first, right on that score line. Go ahead and if you want to just make sure it's even, press lightly with your finger. Now the bottom edge is not perfectly straight, so I'm going to trim that. Let me just give this a good crease with my bone folder. So this we're going to use as the top edge. Bottom edge is a little uneven. Go back in with my trimmer and just even that up. I'm just going to make sure that I have both edges even, and it's very slippery. So I'm going to gently trim that off so then we have a nice straight edge on the bottom. So probably what I should have done was measured over another 1.5 inches, because you know what? I didn't account for the seam not being on the edge. We're going to go in here and then we're going to go over, let's see, we're going to go over another 1 inch to 3 inches and score. And then that's going to be our new fold line. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get rid of this crease. Probably not. It's okay. Okay, so let's fold that on the 3-inch line. This is why you don't always want to craft while you're recording a video. Okay, so then our finished width dimension is 4 inches. We are going to have another fold line right there at 4 inches, right here, because that's where we're going to fold it over and then we'll glue it like that. And this original crease line is just from how it was in the package. Okay, so then I'm going to find my new score line there, and then we're going to fold this crease this there. All right, so I hope you understand what I did. As you can see, we now have a bag that is starting to look similar to that. First thing I'm going to do is glue this and see how this works. I would just do like a very light coating right along the outside edge. Overlap will be about 1/3 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, depending on how well we measured. And then we did have to trim some off. Here we go. We're gonna fold this over, and then I'm just gonna gently rub my finger along that line where we put the glue so that it's sealed really good. I'm gonna let that dry for a couple of minutes. While that is drying, I'm going to grab some scissors that have a decal edge to them, because this bag, if you can see, has a decal edge to it. We'll try to make that match this bag exactly. Okay, so I have 2 different types of scissors here. These are not really good quality. I think these are both Dollar Tree. One of them has more of a scalloped edge, and this has like a rick-rack kind of edge to it. I think I'm going to go with this little scalloped edge, and we are definitely experimenting. So this is going to be the bottom edge, and I'm only going to trim a small amount off because I did not account for wanting to do this decal edge. I'm going to just go in here, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So this is probably not turning out the greatest, as it probably could. Okay, well, you know, you get the idea. Here is the bottom edge, and it is a little rough, but that's okay. Get my scoreboard out. We're gonna score 1/2 inch up from the bottom so that we can fold this over. Probably should have done this before I trimmed and made it a decal edge. We're gonna go down 1 inch and then score all the way across. And then that gives you your score line to fold up the bottom of your bag so you can glue that closed. So let's go ahead and fold that over. And then here's folded over, and I'll open it up, and on this interior flap here, I'm going to go in at an angle and trim to the score line, just the inside layer, see? And then we're going to do the same thing over on the other side. Just go up to the score line. And then you're going to trim all this extra off the middle here. I'm going to get bigger scissors for that. Trim off right on the score line if you can. Then when you fold this over, you don't have the extra bulkiness. I'm going to go ahead and trim this raw edge off because I don't like the way it looks. And we still have plenty of overhang in order to glue this in place. So here's what it looks like now. Basically have a bag. This will be the top and this is the bottom. Now we want to glue this edge all in place. I'm going to, again, take my wet glue, run it along the outside here, and then all along this bottom flap because you want that sealed down. Now we're going to fold this over again. I'm just going to gently fold this with my bone folder. I'm thinking that looks pretty cute so far. Make sure it's open all the way. Yep. So this glue seems to be holding pretty well so far. Now I'm just going to let this dry. On this bag, they left the front edge shorter than the top edge. I'm going to get a circle punch, and then we're going to maybe punch a little divot in the top. So I'll be right back. Here is our finished bag that we just made. If you want to, you can make it look like this and trim it down. so the opening in the back is higher, and then you can fold it over. But for this video, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna first trim that off so it's even all the way across. I'm just gonna use my paper punch and then put like a half circle punch. I'm gonna line it up just on the top layer. You could do both layers if you want. And then I'm gonna put it in halfway and then make sure it's, eyeball it and it's in the middle. And then, okay, that was a little rough. It didn't completely cut that off, so I'm just gonna trim that off. Again, you don't have to punch a hole in the top here, but it just makes it easy if you're gonna put a goodie in there, or if it's gonna be sticking out part way, the recipient can go in there and grab it. That is how I would make a handmade glassine bag using the Dollar Tree parchment. You can also buy parchment paper in rolls. This is a pretty lightweight material, so it works really good. And if you want to mimic what a glassine bag looks like. So here is the original one that I bought from the store that just looks like this. And then this is the one that we just made. I think they're pretty similar. You can play around with the top if you want to and make it look exactly like this. I think it turned out really cute. And thank you for watching my video. Bye-bye.